डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Namaskar. Welcome to the another lecture of Unit 2 of Digital Media paper. In last two sessions, we got to know many aspects of digital audience, the meaning concept of digital audience. We compared the earlier concept of audience and the modern concept of digital audience. In this particular lecture, we are going to understand some other aspects of digital audience in the same unit, and that is the inside of the mind of digital audience. It means there is a complete mind mapping required to understand the digital audience in the arena of modern computer technology, where convergence is happening 24/7 into 365 days. And there are many sociological, psychological and technological aspects of digital audience, because technology is one part that dealt with the hardware and software part of the entire digital ecosystem. There is another aspect of digital audience, that is the psychological and sociological aspects of the audience. Why? Because our society is multifunctional. We have multi-religion, multilingual, multi-belief system, and that always differs from geographical origin to the geographical origin. But at the advent of global village, where the physical distance is no matter to place in digital life, the only digital connectivity play the important role, where the people from X country can directly understand the country of Y, and Y to Z and Z to A, and similar like any other country. So sociological and psychological have always studied the crowds, the people management, people belief system, and in the form of people's movement and audience preferences, behavior from the political and marketing point of view. Especially we are trying to understand this concept in periphery of digital landscape. In the networked world we live in, the psychology of digital users has gained prominence as in the field of digital study. From political parties to business, news organizations to marketers want to understand the psychology of netizens, the psychology of digital users, in order to win them over, engaging with their content. It means there is a popularly says content is the king and engagement is the queen, where creating the content and engaging the content with the right audience is the ultimate goal of any digital entities. Social media algorithms are designed after carefully studies the browsing habits of users, so much so that social media psychology has become a separate field of study within the larger digital psychology discipline in modern times. It means people are spending their quality time on digital space to satisfy their professional and personal needs. Let us understand the definition of psychology in context of digital. It can be defined as a field of study which analyzes user behavior and their digital responses to their social or online surroundings and deduces psychological pattern in them. What it means? The psychology has important role to play, especially when any organization or any individual or any psychologist would like to understand the behavioral pattern of individual, group, society or masses at all. With the development of artificial intelligence, which is a current buzzword going in digital world, that is the artificial intelligence algorithm sentiments analysis has become an advanced tactics for content generation and marketers to gauge the mood of digital audience. AI tools have greatly contributed to the rise and popularity of digital psychology in modern times. Marketers and researchers study the behavior of digital audience in multiple ways, with digital psychology being one of them. And there are numerous tools exist in our life, on our digital life, where every piece of data is being monitored 24/7 across the globe about the purchasing behavior of the customer, understanding behavior of a message, particular message, and the total engagement of the audience in a way so that the further communications can be made effective via media. More traditional among researchers arrive at the same conclusions about digital audience from the behavioral side using data tools like Google Analytics, which is the largest analytics database produced to the marketers, produced to the end users, which are described in details in the subsequent section when we study further. In fact, data analytics allows for drawing quick conclusions from the marketing point of view because their ability to analyze user behavior in real time is very, very important. On the other hand, more sophisticated tools like AI try to study the psychological side of user behavior and propose the sentiment trends. Going forward, there are different principles apply in the digital psychology understanding. So, principles of digital psychological on new media audience, let us understand some of them. There are many principles exist in psychology field to understand the behavioral pattern of the audience. So, the first we can take it, that is the emotional response. Marketers and content producers are keen to know what digital audience feel about a certain product, campaigns, advertisement and piece of contents. This sentiment analysis dictates their future course of action. Take teams of analytics organizations run AI tools on text generated by users in the form of likes, comments, forward, shares on web pages, social media posts, blog posts, survey responses, etc. to classify content according to moods like positive, negative, or neutral. The sentiment analysis has become a very popular in political campaigns, in which AI algorithm fine tune with the messaging of their campaigns. It means it try to invade the group of respondents where masses can effectively be placed depending their sentiments, belief system, and understanding of a particular social context. And in popularly, this term is very popular in political arena, that is called social engineering. Many political parties at the time of election campaign do this exercise in order to gaze and map the right voters and put them content the way they like, the way they perceive the ideology of particular political party or the government, so that during the voting time, voters can take the wise decisions to select their candidates, irrespective of the political parties. Lexical analysis, artificial intelligence and machine learning (ML) tools run through vast amount of text in digital space to find words which corresponds with emotions, decision making, and opinion of various stakeholders. Coders phrases dictionary like classifications collected from sources which offer collection of emotion or mood specific words, and then run code to match them with user text collected from social media post. Another is the Hick-Hammond law. This psychological technique is basically calculates the time a user takes to decide their choice in the face of a certain number of choices, especially in product selection, service selection, or any cost selection. The user give a point of thought before putting any action into a particular action. The psychologist William Hick, along with his colleague Ray Heyman, proposed that as the number of choices of a visual stimulus and their complexity increases, it takes longer for the user's experience in web designing. Sometimes we call them UX psychology in digital world. Another principle of digital psychology is the Fitts law, a related concept of information theory which UX designers incorporate in their philosophy is Fitts laws, developed by Paul Fitts. It means that the time taken by a person to move a pointer accurately to a target is a function of distance between the pointer divided by the size of target. This, in brief, we can say a little bit of number games required to understand this Fitts law of psychology. Another principle is the information foraging. This is an information theory about how digital audience browses the web and surf the various information in order to satisfy their information need. This theory technically was developed by AI scientist Peter Piroli and Stuart Card at the US Research and Development company Palo Alto Research Center in 1990. Piroli and Card equated the digital users' quest to find information online to animal behavior to forage for food. And they argued that digital users apply the same type of logic in locating information as animals do when they assess the possibility of finding foods in a particular patch of land. So it's a very orthodox type of research that the both Peter Piroli and Stuart Card did long back to understand what exactly the animals try to find out the food informations in the sense that where they find where is my food, could be agriculture food or could be animal. Another is information for foraging. Researchers argued that the user's rate of gain as information valued divided by the cost associated with obtain that information, where the cost can be measured in terms of efforts applied and not necessarily as money, though in the case of paid content even that become a factor. Yeah, it's a very important point that paid content means what? Any advertiser has paid the money of a particular content to spread in different geographical area to a different targeted audience, and the advertiser spent the money which demanded by a particular social media account in order to execute in certain period of time of that message or that ad in the form of campaign. Another principle is the information scent. As a part of information foraging concept, information scent draws upon the animal food foraging imagery further. Just as the animal decide to scout a patch of land for food after assessing its smell, which differs from species to species, different types of users seek different types of information scent before they decide to become loyal audience of a website. This concept, this principle very much applied in modern times as well, because the audience, the user serve millions and billions of information on daily basis, but they do not serve many informations through many websites or many pages, social media pages or handles, but they do select some of the pages, some of the handles, and they get regular updates via notifications. So suppose that if there are 100 YouTube influencers I know, but it doesn't mean that I am following all those 100 influencers in order to get the informations. I may not surfing all of them, but certainly I am following some of them in order to satisfy exactly what is my information need. For example, if I am interested to understand more about sports, so I have selected few sports influencers or sports news channels or media channels, and I am regularly surfing those websites and channels, YouTube channels. So the test and preferences of the content. If I like, I select, I follow those channels. If I don't like, I'll skip it or unfollow. Information sent means the visual appeal and the content posting of the posting on the website. It means what? A regular basis of post is being circulated, posted on website regular basis, and the end user get those information whenever they want to access it. It could include just UX element like a layout, font, color scheme, etc., but it could also mean the type of content we are accessing, its ideological position on the social media where smells of the content or format of the content is important to gauge the sentiments of the audience. So, let us recap some of the parts that we have covered so far in this particular session, that is the what inside of the digital audience. We started with the psychological and sociological aspects of the understanding of people's mindset, then definition of psychology in connection with the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then we specifically talked about Google Analytics and some of the principles which are applied in digital audience response, that is the emotional response, lexical analysis, Hickman law, Fitts law, information foraging, information sent. And so in this particular segment we try to understand the psychological aspects of digital audience, and probably a few more topics is required to complete in this unit, and then we will further move into unit number 3. So, with this note, so in some of the session we have tried to understand the sociological, psychological aspects of digital audience, and there are some psychological principles are applied to understand the digital behavior of the audience. Thank you.